Hi everyone. These are my historical figures. My first one is Oscar Orias. A little bit about his early life. He was born on September 13th, 1940, in Heredia. He was born into an upper class family and lived in the province of Heredia. He concluded his secondary schooling at St. Francis College. They went to Boston University with intention to study medicine, but soon returned home to study law and economics at the University of Costa Rica. In 1967, he traveled to the UK to study at the University of Essex, where he learned his doctorate degree in political science. His political career. He embarked on his political career in 1970 as assistant to Jose Figueres. In 1972, he was given a seat in the government as the Minister of National Planning and Political Economy. In 1975, his party elected him International Secretary, and then in 1979, General Secretary. In the 1978 elections, when the Christian Social Unity Party won the presidency, he was elected Legislative Assembly, but withdrew to work for his party's presidential candidate, Luis Alberto Monge, who won in 1982. And then he nominated himself in 1989 and was elected president in 1986, winning 52.3% of the vote. So during his presidency, he joined the National Liberation Party, which was Costa Rica's main social democratic party. During his presidency, the country's economy went from traditional cash crops, which is coffee and bananas, to non-traditional such as exotic flowers, fruits, and tourism. Some people within his party criticized him for going towards a neoliberal economic model instead of sticking to traditions. He modified the country's educational system and reintroduced standardized testing in the primary and secondary level. And although there was a clause that forbade presidents to re-elect, he challenged this with the support of his supporters and was eventually re-elected in 2006. So, controversy within his presidency. In 2006, in response to his opponent, Aton Solis, he referred to himself as an eagle and the other candidates as snails, making himself sound superior to the rest of the candidates. In 2010, during the closing of his second term, he inaugurated many unfinished projects with ribbon cutting and golden plaques, such as the National Stadium, which was only 75% done, the new presidential office, which hadn't existed yet, and the new Juan Santa Maria Airport, which was only 82% complete, in which he got a lot of backlash for. Controversy arose even after his presidency, with the road from Escazú to Caldera received criticism for the high tolls and dangerous roads. And he was also blamed for inviting a Canadian corporation to perform heavy mining, which compromised the country's biodiversity. So, some further accomplishments: he won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1986 for his work towards signing the Esquipulas II Accords, and this plan was intended to promote democracy and peace in Central America during the time of turmoil. And then he used his Nobel Prize money to create the Arias Foundation for Peace and Human Progress, which promoted peace and equality throughout the world. And then my second historical figure was Juan Santa Maria. So he was born on August 29th, 1931 in Alajuela. He was a Costa Rican soldier and was officially recognized as the hero of the country. And he grew up in a rural area and worked as a farmer. So his life as a soldier, he sacrificed his life for the good of his country, but that went uncelebrated until 50 years after his death. And then he was mostly known and recognized for the Second Battle of Rivas. So it was a really important story, so I wrote it down so that you could hear the story of why he was very important. An American man, William Walker, tried to overthrow several Central American nations, including Costa Rica. In order to defeating being conquered, the president at the time, Juan Rafael Mata Porras, called for his men to bear arms and resist the intimidating forces of William Walker. The military was unable to defeat the invaders in Santa Rosa, Guanacaste, and their spirits were high as they moved north to continue fighting. When they reached Rivas, Nicaragua, they faced a formidable enemy. They arrived on April 8, 1956, and began what is now known as the Second Battle of Rivas. The area was heavily occupied by Walker's men, centered at a hostel, and the Costa Rican soldiers weren't able to have the same success they did in Santa Rosa. They knew they had to drive his men out of the hostel, but after a few unsuccessful days, they decided they need to burn down the hostel. Several soldiers attempted at this plan but were killed before they completed the mission. Juan Santamaria was the last to attempt. As he started his mission, he was mortally wounded by fire, but still persisted, and he was able to light the hostel on fire before he died. This was the turning point of the war and led to the victory of Costa Rica defeating Walker. So that was the main reason why he's the country's hero, because he risked his life to help save the country. So some accomplishments. So the main international airport is named after him. He is honored by a statue in a park in the central canton of Alajuela and another in front of Congress in San Jose. The statue was commissioned by the Costa Rican government in 1891. And then he has a national holiday, which is celebrated on August 11th to commemorate his death. And yeah, that's it.